Hello, thank you for joining me. My name's Claire and I'm here with a 2-card tarot reading for you. It is Thursday, the 26th, is it, of January? That sounds about right, doesn't it? I literally can't remember what day it is half the time. Is it just me or do you do that too? Okay, let's see what we've got today. Oh, it's nearly the end of January. We've nearly made it, haven't we? Oh, flew out my hand. Right, what have we got? All right, we've got the 8 of Materials, actually. I've had this card a couple of times when I've used this Creative Muse Tarot, or the Muse Tarot as it's called. And I don't think I know a woman where this doesn't apply to, really. You know, 4 pairs of hands, trying to do loads of different things at once. Yeah, I can certainly resonate with that. And I'm sure many of you can. I said women, but men as well. You know, we've all seem to have a lot on our plate. This lady's doing it quite expertly though, isn't she? And as I'm reading this card, because I think I'm quite tired as I'm giving you this message at the moment, I feel a little bit refreshed energy coming in, actually, taking over my current feelings. So that idea of being very capable and actually not letting things stress you out is coming in here. Now, I've seen personally, as I sort of do my own little card readings and stuff, I've seen the 8 of, well, this is the 8 of Materials, but it relates to the Pentacles in other tarot packs as well. It's like the equivalent for this one. And I have seen this come up quite a lot. As this sort of energy has shifted and we've moved into Aquarius season. I did mention that the energies are going a little bit, everything's direct now, the planets are direct and starting to get moving, starting to get going. And I'm wondering if this is suddenly, it seems like an urge to start doing more than perhaps we have been doing. Maybe picking up that hobby that you've left because you just needed to rest, or thinking, you know what, now's a good time to start XYZ, whether that's decorating a room or you're maybe looking at planning your garden, or it might be, I feel like these arms are putting feelers out to see what else might be there. I don't know if you can see, but some of these are in the hands and some of them have got like an invisible white light, and sort of, whether that's like a yo-yo and they're coming back, or whether that's like the law of attraction. That's the sort of message that I'm getting here at the moment, that, you know, it's putting out there, thinking, yeah, I want that, actually. I'd like that. And seeing where it, you know, starting to work out a plan of how that actually comes into fruition. So let's see what other card that we've got to join that 8 of Materials, which can maybe give us a little bit of a heads up of perhaps how we go about that. Okay, got the 7 of Voices. We had Voices come out, I think the other day, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? But the 7 of Voices is also the 7 of Swords, and that came out when we moved into Aquarius season. So I always take notice when we've had a repeating pattern of the same card coming out, especially when it's 2 different packs and the same card comes out. So it's almost like a different take on it, but the same message. And I think when we talked about this a few days ago, and I think, as I say, it was on the 20th when we had moved into Aquarius season, I kind of went with Fleetwood Mac, didn't I, singing You Can Go Your Own Way. But you know what? I'm really drawn to the foxes that are in this one. There's a lady with a fox for a head. And the foxes here, as we can see on this side, have got their mouths closed. And then if you look underneath, they've got their mouths open. And then if you look at the lady, she looks very serene and quite happy there. She looks like a bit of a force of nature, doesn't she, on that one? It's very much 2 sides of one person. But there's 2 sides to all of us, isn't there? You know? And I think we don't always like to admit that. You know, some people see us in a very different way. That's interesting, because I'm trying to think that that's a real big message in itself. And then we've got this idea of putting stuff out. So I feel I'm getting very drawn to the fact this is 7 of voices, because I'm getting a little voice come into my head, not in a mad way, just in a kind of spirit guide way of, if you're going to put intentions out there in the world, make sure you communicate them properly. In other words, be careful what you wish for. But secondly, it's about how you see people, how they see you. And I feel this is possibly in a work situation, because, you know, when you're at work, you're a very, very different person to who you are when you're at home, maybe. When you're with your children, you're very, very different to how you are with your parents, say, if you've, you know, if you've got both sets of those. I guess it's the idea, if you're your true, authentic self, that's great, but you don't have to give that to everybody, because sometimes you need to be something slightly different. So whether that's a more professional person that's kind of held back, you know, maybe you don't go into work and spill out everything that's happened to you in your personal life, you know, you hold yourself back, you act a little bit differently. That isn't about not being true to yourself. It's just about having boundaries, isn't it? And having, you know, who gets to see this side of you and who gets to see this side of you. You know, where do you instinctively know to sort of back off and go, ah, you know, leave me alone? Because if you're looking at this card and thinking, you know what, I know what I want for my life, there is an element that we maybe have to be 2 types of people to get that. With yourself, I would say you have to be your true, authentic self. Not judge yourself, not be harsh on yourself, and really believe and have that self-worth that you are completely worthy of everything that that you want to get. But you know what? To get that, you might have to be a little bit harsh. You might have to say no to people. You might have to actually change the way you are with people, or cut certain people out of your life. You might be starting to realise that, well, if I want that, this person unfortunately doesn't fit in that lifestyle. And that sounds really harsh. Sorry, turning the cards around. But it is actually quite true sometimes, isn't it? Because when you kind of realise that, what you really, really want out of your life, which I think is what this is, you do have to have certain sacrifices or changes, or, you know, be a little bit different perhaps to what you normally are. And that could be in the silliest thing of, say you're a mum and you've been at home with your children and they've gone to school, and now you want a job. You're not going to turn up in your interview with your jogging bottoms with the egg down the front of your t-shirt, are you? You're going to perceive yourself as something different. You know, that's not living a lie. That's just presenting yourself differently and being almost like becoming the person that you want to be. So I feel that that is the message, and I feel the 7 of voices is coming in to say, don't let anybody, including yourself, stand in your way. You know, this is the manifestation of what we want, and this is a little bit of tough love, I guess, or just, you know, plain speaking of actually, you know, being very honest with ourselves about how we've got to go about that. And I do think that's going to lead to a few, how can I put it? Conversations, maybe, because it's voices. So whether that's conversations with yourself in your own head, or conversations with other people that may be a little bit frank and a little bit difficult, but necessary, and, you know, for the greater good. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I was expecting that to be a really quick message, but it went on quite a long time. So thank you if you're still listening. I will be back again tomorrow on Friday with spirit animal cards. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks very much for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done already. And thank you if you have. Okay, bye for now.